Joy Business Report. Headlines this afternoon: insurance firms urged to take advantage of regulatory interventions by the National Insurance Commission to boost returns following the impact of the domestic debt exchange program. We'll hear from the 2023 Africa Insurance Outlook update by Deloitte. And National Pensions Regulatory Authority said to prosecute more companies over failure to pay workers' net and Tier 2 contributions to improve compliance. Also, some stakeholders in the banking sector raised concerns that time is running out on indigenous banks waiting to receive financial support from the Bank of Ghana under the Financial Stability Fund. I am Beverly Broom. We settle for the details now. Professional services firm Deloitte is urging insurance firms to take advantage of the regulatory interventions by the National Insurance Commission and explore alternative investment choices to boost returns. In its 2023 Africa Insurance Outlook update, it said the debt exchange program underscores the importance of insurance companies having a diversified investment portfolio. Let's hear from this Business Desk report.
The leader in professional services on the African continent said, despite the domestic debt exchange program being in the early stages, there is consensus on the long-term impact on the insurance industry. Accordingly, while the program is expected to alleviate the country's debt burden, it is also likely to impair the return on investment for insurance companies. Insurers are therefore encouraged to take advantage of the regulatory interventions and explore alternative investment choices to boost returns. One of the most significant challenges to Ghana's insurance industry is liquidity risk. Deloitte said if the new debt instrument resulting from the DDEP have longer maturities, an insurance company may need to hold onto them for longer than anticipated. Again, the tradability of the old bonds is expected to be limited, thereby reducing liquidity and potentially affecting the ability to pay claims.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority has indicated its preparedness to prosecute more firms over failure to pay workers' SNIT and Tier 2 contributions. It follows concerns that some firms are still failing to honor their obligations. The Tier 2 contributions has to do with 5% deduction of workers' basic salary and privately managed. Chief Executive of the authority, Hayford Atakofi, said the NPRA wants to ensure that there is compliance, especially among the private firms.
Across the country, our prosecutorial powers have kicked in, and I wouldn't say we are right on top yet, but we are making a lot of progress. I think we've been able to, to the extent of about 30 million, for example, from prosecutions, which don't come to the regulator. It goes to the managers of the schemes. But one thing that you don't ever, as regulator, compromise on is the fact that the contributors benefit, suffer. We don't, under any circumstance, compromise on that. So we cannot, for example, say that because times are difficult, contributions are not to be paid.
Chief Executive Officer of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Hayford Atakofi there. Now, the Association of Young Insurance Professionals Ghana has indicated that it will work with other industry players to create more awareness. This, the association says, will aid in increasing the coverage rate of insurance. Country Director Lawrence Daniel says the association will enhance the image of insurance in Ghana through partnership. He spoke to Joy Business.
If someone at the budding stage understands insurance very well, as he or she grows, he or she will understand the ethos of insurance, the do's and don'ts. So if the youth understand insurance from their budding stage, as they grow, at least it will affect the whole nation in general, such that it will even increase the insurance penetration. Imagine if, with yourself, if you understood insurance, let's say 5-10 years ago, I don't think the insurance penetration or the percentage will be as low as 2% as you speak.
Lawrence Daniels is the country director for the Association of Young Insurance Professionals, Ghana. Moving on, more stakeholders in the banking sector have raised concerns that time is running out on indigenous banks waiting to receive financial support from the Bank of Ghana and the Financial Stability Fund. The central bank is expected to support the banks which were hit hard by the domestic debt exchange program. Speaking to Joy News, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Ituahene called on the Bank of Ghana to protect the country's banking sector by helping local banks.
One thing we should learn from this crisis is that let us build a strong domestic institutions. I'll take you one example. Have you ever heard any Ghanaian bank operating in the Nigerian domestic banking system? Absolutely nothing. Have you ever heard a Ghanaian operating in the South African system? Absolutely nothing. They build Chinese wall around their banking system, makes it very difficult for you to penetrate. But for our case, it is easier for them to come. So that is why they have already started recapitalizing it. And we have to do that so that we can also build a strong domestic banking sector.
Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Ituahene. Let's do agriculture now, as some stakeholders in the agricultural sector have called on the government to develop holistic policies which will tackle the development of agriculture in the country to avert food crisis in the future. According to them, the government would have to put measures in place to ensure a functioning value chain to boost yields. This, they believe, will solve issues of food shortage and avert food insecurity crisis. Here's more in this report.
Food crisis becoming a global security issue and the current political unrest in the ECOWAS sub-region, Ghana is likely to face a continuous shortage of food commodities such as onions and tomatoes. With food inflation hovering around 54% and the country's continuous dependence on imports, many have questioned government's policy on the sector. Dr. Kwejokusi Amwa is an agronomist and lecturer at the University of Cape Coast.
It is very critical that we take the whole thing holistically, from the input we are getting to our lands, to the production itself, how we handle the harvest, and then to the consumer.
Chief Executive Officer of Kent Investments, Richard Addison, had this to say about developing the value chain.
The storage should be somebody else's problem. The farmer can grow it, somebody can store it. Obviously, as a farmer, I don't even need to own a tractor. Somebody else can own the tractor, I can rent the tractor, and somebody will build their warehouses. It's the education, because people need to know that being in agriculture doesn't really mean that you have to go to the field and farm.
You heard the report put together by my colleague Isaac Atsase Nyako. Now, Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce, Emmanuel Doni Kwame, is pressing on small and medium enterprises to gain certification for their products locally before making moves to enter the international market. According to him, businesses in the food sector have a better opportunity when they gain certification from the Ghanaian regulators. He spoke to Joy Business after the launch of morning, afternoon and evening fair in Accra.
The good part is also bringing in the regulator. And as I mentioned during one of my discussions, COVID taught us something, and that we can negotiate on food. We can decide to wear the same shirt for the whole year, but food is key. You can't, whether we are restricted to stay at home, there has to be food. So we realize that we have a lot of companies exhibiting food, and that's a good start. And then once you develop your own local market, then you could also think of going international.
For your pension tips on Money Lab, let's now hear from Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pensions Trust, as he shares ways you can effectively monitor your pension contributions.
Hello and welcome to Money Lab. My name is Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pension Trust. We are still on our pension tidbits on Money Lab. In our last episode, we looked at how to plan and retire comfortably in your old age. Today, we are going to give tidbits on how to continuously monitor your pension plan. One of the things you want to do, and it's very key, is to ensure that you have been registered under the scheme. So for example, if it is tier 1, you must ensure that you have a SNIT number, or now that SNIT is using the Ghana identification number as the state number. You must ensure that you have given it to your employer and your employer is using it to pay contributions on your behalf. If it is tier 2, you must make sure that again you have been registered under the scheme. Thank you once again for joining us.
And that's the end of the Joy Business Report, brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, including LinkedIn. The EcoBank salary account is a special account designed for workers of all income brackets desirous of receiving their salaries through EcoBank. With the EcoBank salary account, you are guaranteed all the benefits of a normal savings or current account, plus many more. EcoBank salary account gives workers free life insurance cover of up to 10,000 Ghana Cedi, 24/7 access to cash and e-banking services, internet and mobile banking services, high interest on savings, no minimum balance, ability to save through the EcoBank Save as you spend, a unique feature that helps customers to save and invest. Remember, the insurance policy covers death, permanent or temporary disability, critical illness, hospitalization, retrenchment, and more. Savings or current account holders at EcoBank do not have to close their existing account to enjoy the numerous benefits of the EcoBank salary account. Just ask your branch to switch your existing account to the EcoBank salary account. Non-EcoBank account holders should approach any EcoBank branch and ask for the EcoBank salary account. Switch your salary account today and enjoy amazing benefits at EcoBank. Call EcoBank toll free on 0800 003 wherever for further details. EcoBank is the Pan-African Bank. I am Beverly Boom. Thanks so much for your time. Ignition is next with Sammy Forson. Do enjoy.